Good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the February skill building call for the National Association of FHA Consultants, 203K Consultants. We are going to be getting started in just a few minutes. I am trying to get the live stream to work on Facebook, but apparently with the Fathom recording running to be able to make the transcript and the amazing recording transcripts that Fathom does, I cannot live stream it on Fathom and also live stream it on Facebook. So that's a drag. So I think I'm going to default to using the Fathom recording, and I'll just basically record something separately on Facebook Live, simply because the Fathom recording is such a powerful tool. It gives action items and takeaways and things of that nature. So I think we're just going to stick with that. All right. So good morning. We are looking at this, getting ready to go forward with today's details and information on work write-ups. That's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to work with work write-ups. So in a few seconds, we will be starting. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great morning. So we'll be right there with you shortly. Good morning, everyone, and we are getting started today. Thank you all so much for being here today. Let me make sure we've gotten everybody set up to join. Excellent. So let's see if we can get. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the call, and thank you again so much for being here. My name is Catherine Hall, and I am your host for today's session on the 203K flow of activities. There we go. There I am. Okay. 203K flow of activities. Let me move this screen down. As we continue in our series on understanding the 203K flow of activities using the Genesis rehab system. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to open up for you all the file, the 203K flow of activities. And it's available to you on the Vault using Genesis Rehab Reporting System. So I'm going to open that file up right now, and I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Excellent. Thank you all. All right. So this is the 203K flow of activities, and it is the file that we have been following since November of last year. Starting in November, we worked on the 3 prior sections. So November, we talked about the pre-inspection task list activity, what you do before you go out to the property, with the most important thing to note that you don't rush out to the home. When you are doing a rehab loan, do not just call. When someone calls you for an appointment, do not say, hey, I'll be there tomorrow. Always, always make a situation so that you can get the details you need to be able to make sure this moves smoothly and efficiently. Then on December, the second Thursday in December, we reviewed the initial site visit and preliminary work write-up task list and what to do, and the 4 things that are part of that activity when you are preparing for and performing your initial site visit. That is also known as the preliminary work write-up or feasibility study. The terminology of those services is very important, and I'm going to explain that at this stage that we are at now, which is work write-up task list. Last month, we talked about the contractor bidding phase. This is when you actually push the project out to the contractors to bid, and you invited them to be able to submit their bids, and then the borrower accepted the bids. We are now at the point where we have accepted and we have successfully received contractor bids, and we're in the process of reviewing those accepted bids for completeness, creating the final work write-up, verifying permits, establishing the number of months for completion, and collecting the balance due and releasing the work write-up. Those are the 4 steps in the work write-up task list. So as you can see, for the most part, there's 4 steps. There's at least 3 steps in every section of this project, and there's 5 big giant activities for every rehab loan. So we're going to pick it up right now at the point where we have a contractor who is ready to submit the bid, and we're going to show you how to make sure they accept the bid. And then we're going to import that bid into the work write-up task list, review it, accept it, and then the most important thing we're going to talk about is how you get paid and how you report your payment request. So that's what we're going to be starting to talk about today. So I'm going to go into Genesis. Let me open up Genesis. Okay, great and good. All right, perfect. So we're going to go to a project here, and actually we're going to go to a project that is, and if you look, I'm going to hit the zoom button. Whenever you are on your tablet or your iPad or iPhone and you're working inside Genesis, hit the zoom button. It makes those screens easier to see. Okay, so always hit the zoom button. Now on a desktop, obviously the screens are huge. I don't need to zoom in, but if I was on a tablet or an iPad or iPhone, I would want to be able to zoom in. So always remember that zoom button toggles it bigger and smaller. We're going to go right here where we're hitting active projects. So right now you can see under active projects, I have 4 projects that are in contractor bidding. 1 where the contractor has not even started, and 3 that are actively in the bidding phase. So we're just going to go to that section there called contractor bidding. And there you see the 3 projects that are in active phase. So we're going to go here to this project here that says view bids to see what has happened. And there you see we have a bid where the contractor is ready to submit. This is what this is saying to you is that they filled in all of the category line items in their portal, but they didn't hit the submit button. It might be that they're waiting to add additional information. It might be that they just didn't know that they had to hit submit, but you can guide them from this point to say, hey, I noticed that you've submitted everything. You've got all the information in here. Please go ahead and hit the submit button. Now, this is a sample bid, okay? So I want you to see that there is no labor total in, but if it was a real contractor bid, you would want to make sure that you see labor and material to make sure that you can total up everything correctly. So now they have not submitted their bid. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Genesis from another browser window. And let's go back out here. And let's look at our contractors. Let's see, Control F. Okay, great. So we're going to log in to another browser and open up Genesis. So Walter, welcome to the call. I'm going to make you a co-host so that you will be able to admit people that are jumping on the call that I'm not maybe noticing. Okay. So now I'm going into Genesis and I'm going to log in. That's my company login. I'm going to log in as the contractor. And the password. Great. So now I've logged in as a contractor. And as a contractor, I can view every single, and as a contractor, I can see all the projects for which I have been invited to bid. So there you can see this one, he has it's in progress where they started putting numbers. This one, they haven't even opened. And this one, it's ready to submit. And so there you can see, it says right there on the screen, submit to consultant. They can edit the bid. So we'll go back in, let them edit the bid. So all mandatory items have costs and you are ready to submit. We try to make it as easy for these contractors to get this done. So there you can see, hey, please hit submit. We're just telling them to go ahead and hit submit. So there you can see all the line items that are entered. Okay, and the grand total of the project. So now we're going to add a contractor recommended repair item. And I want to explain what that is when we do the work write-up. There are situations where contractors may want to add additional items to the work write-up, or they need to change and put something new that wasn't in your scope of work. You do not need to roll back. And in fact, I very rarely recommend rolling back before contractor bidding, because if you do, you wipe out everything that the contractors have done. Always give yourself the option, and you have the option to edit the complete bid once you get to work write-up. But let's take a situation where a contractor has decided that the borrower wants to do something different. So let's say we're going to go into the kitchen and it's a desired improvement. The contractor is going to do it, and the contractor is going to replace the ceiling fan light over the breakfast table. Okay. Cost of, so that's the item. And so we're going to say cost allowance, $200 for fixture. Okay. Now, he is going to fill this out, and in many cases, he's not going to understand what to use, and he just may just go with the first thing he sees, which is allowance, which is fine. If he is using Genesis often enough and understands and goes in and changes the units, that's fantastic. But basically, if he doesn't, you can edit this in work write-up. So now, he says that he's going to put a $200 fixture. So let's say he's going to put $250 to include incidental costs, chains and wiring, etc. And then he's going to charge $150 for his labor to put this in for a total. Once he puts that contractor recommended item in there, he has the option and the ability to add category descriptions. Okay, borrower requests new fixture over table in kitchen. All right, so we put in there, the description was to replace, existing fixture, a standard ceiling flush light, new bracket, support for ceiling fan unit included in labor cost. Now, I don't know any contractor who's going to be that specific and detailed in his writing. I wish they would be, but we're just going to take it from here, and he's going to hit submit. If he puts nothing down there, it's okay. So now I have every single thing that he needs to do, and I'm going to hit the submit button. So then he gets a question that says, are you absolutely sure you want to submit your bid? You will not be able to change any values after submitting. Yep, I'm ready to go. So now that they have submitted this bid inside Genesis, it will show up on their platform as a submitted bid. There you can see it. They can view the bid that they can view that submitted bid right there, the PDF. It's red because it's Acrobat color. They can view what they sent. They can view the initial bid with no numbers. They can view the photos, but this is done on the contractor side. He's ready to rock and roll. Okay, so I'm going to minimize that and close that screen and go back over to here. And I'm going to log in again on this side as a consultant. Got to find my login. Yeah, I only have 2,500. There it is. Whoops. There it is. Go. All right. So now I'm going to go into that project again. We're going to go over to bids. And there you can see we're going to hit view bids. And there you see that the bid is submitted. Now, your step at this point is to view that bid. Before you go into the work write-up phase, you want to review the PDF of the bid that the contractor sent you. You want to check and make sure that everything is included. So if you put in the permit insert form that there's going to be a general building permit, an HVAC permit, an electric and a plumbing permit, in specific categories in the work write-up, there needs to be a line item for the permit cost, unless the lender has asked you to include permits as an allowable fee, which we're going to discuss that right now in the work write-up phase. So there you can see all my information, and it looks good. And so now I'm going to send it to the borrower. Hey, this is the total cost of the project, $11,016. I want you to review it. So now I'm going to send this for signature. I'm in Acrobat. I'm going to basically request e-signatures. We're going to basically send this to the borrower for them to sign, and we're going to send this to the contractor because he didn't sign it either. All right, so we're going to basically say, please sign this. All right, so I'm going to just put in an email address in here. Okay. All right, Catherine Borrower. So now I'm going to take that file, and we would do the same thing. We would add the contractor to the same project list. And what we're going to do now is we're going to invite them to bid. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to put the place where we want them to bid. Right here where it says borrower's acknowledgement, we want the borrower's signature. And we want the borrower's date. Boom, that's it. For my own peace of mind, I would also put the contractor's signature and the contractor's date. So they recognize that they're responsible for these permits as well. And in the Genesis update that's coming, it will be a line item there. Then we're going to go all the way down to the bottom, to the last page. And here we're going to basically get the contractor's signature. So we're going to request his signature. And then we're going to, so that would be if we had the contractor, we would have him listed as well. But we just put the borrower here for this conversation today because time is of the essence. Then we're going to put over here for the borrower. Okay, so it's a signature block, asks for their name, for them to sign their name and to put an email. We don't need a block. We just need the signature. We need their name. And we need the date. It can be anywhere on this page. It doesn't have to be right here. You can put this anywhere you want. And so now I'm going to hit send. Now in this in the situation that you'd be doing, you'd have two signature requests. And now this has been sent off to the borrower to sign. While you're waiting for them to do that, okay, you're going to go back inside Genesis and you're going to edit the project. So let's assume for the conversation that they did accept the bid, you've got it signed, you put it in your folder, stored on your computer. Now you're going to accept the bid. All right. In the last phase that we talked about for January's skill building call, I showed you how to roll it, how to send it back for revision. So I showed you how you could say, I'm not happy, this is not correct. But in this case, we are happy with it. So we're going to now select this winning bidder. By doing the select winning bidder, all other bidders are blocked out from putting in bids. It closes down the bidding activity. Now that you have selected the bidder and closed everyone else, now you need to import those numbers into your side of Genesis. And this is one of the tools that makes Genesis so much more powerful than any other system out there. You don't have to rewrite anything. This is also why you want to get contractors to bid in Genesis, because all you have to do is click that one button and it's going to import that bid into your system. Boom. Now that that has been done, that project, it no longer says 3 in process. It's now left the contractor bidding stage and now has moved into work write-up. And so now that project has been pushed into work write-up. And that's where we are now. And there we are, Madison Kaminsky. We're going into the work write-up task list. So you see, for the most part, once you have completed your preliminary work write-up and contractor bidding, the work write-up task list moves incredibly quickly. Everything is done for you in the prior stages. So all you have to do is just confirm everything, hit a closing date, click some buttons, and you're ready to send this off for the underwriting. It takes 5 minutes to complete a work write-up if you've done all those other steps carefully and slowly. So now here is why we cannot submit this. And whenever you are in a task list, unless you have all boxes checked in green, you do not get to the place where you can finalize the document and produce printing. So here you can see contractor recommended items. Let's go there. This is that item that I created where we're replacing the ceiling fan over the breakfast table. This is where you get to edit what he put in under his side. So now he doesn't always know where to put it. He might have put it under kitchen or drywall or whatever. It belongs in electric. Obviously, it's electrical repair. That's an easy call. So it belongs in electric. So now we're going to update that line item to the category that it belongs and reassign it into the electric category. From there, we actually have the ability to, so Walter, if you can see that person and admit them. I got it. So we go in here under electric and we're going to view the line items. There's the permit. So remember I said, you got to make sure that there's a permit line connected to each area where a permit is ordered in the permit insert form. That's one of the things you would confirm before you finalize. And there's my contractor recommended item. I can go in and edit this. Okay, so he's doing this. It's recommended by the contractor. What's being done? We're replacing the ceiling fan, one ceiling fan, one labor cost. I'm okay with it. It's good to go. I'm finished. I didn't update anything. We're fine. So now that I have reapportioned that contractor recommended item, I'm finished all those steps here. Now I need to go back and we're going to talk about the fee schedule right now in a second, because that's the part that you have to do now. And to describe the fee schedule, I'm going to show you what this looks like. This says just simply a work write-up. You need to know what the repair amount total is. So for the purpose of discussion, we're going to assume that the repair total was $35,000. How do you report the fees? All right, let's go there. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that to you. Where is the Word file? There it is. This is the most important part of the work write-up package. And this is the part that a lot of you have a hard time grasping. And I need for you to understand that. How you report something to the lender is not the same as how you get paid by the borrower. Let's walk this through. When you go out to the when you schedule to go out to the property, you're going to request, get this over here. When you schedule to go out to the property, you're going to request the fee for the preliminary work write-up. That's what we're going to be requesting. And that is the $400. So I'm going to go over on this side of the column. This is the $400. Now adding mileage, whatever your mileage charge is, for the initial evaluation, the preliminary work write-up. If for any reason the deal dies, after you have delivered that preliminary work write-up, that $400 is your full and final payment. No other money is due to you by the borrower. You gave them a brief report. They're moving on. If they're doing a limited 203K and they are only looking to get the preliminary work write-up report and the bid package so that they can move on with their limited activity, whatever you're collecting at that point is full and final payment. Boom, they paid $400. Now, if it's moving forward and you're now going to be collecting work write-up costs, all right, so we're basically computing this on we're using this as a description. We're basically making this pay structure. So this is the 203K payment, collection, and reporting flow based on a $35,000 project. All right, bonus. All right, that's my header. Now, What you're doing now is this. When you are ready to collect the balance due, you are basically going to say to the client, okay, let's look at this here. The total of the repairs is $35,000, which means that the fee that you owe me is $750. That's a total due for the work write-up. That's the work write-up. The total repairs is $35,000. The fee for the work write-up is $750. Whoops, this is the minimum property standard. Okay, great. I don't want to do that. Pick that up here. All right, so now you went out to the property and you've already received $400. All right, so you received $400 for the preliminary work write-up. Of that $400, you're going to apply the $100 plus the mileage to the fact that you performed a feasibility study. That's for the feasibility study. You see, HUD allows you to get paid $100 for a report called a feasibility study. And so this is going to allow you to make extra money on the project. So you received $400, you're applying 100 of that 400 to the feasibility study. That leaves a balance credit to the borrower, to the work, a credit against the final work write-up of $300. All right, now, if you wanted to charge $450, $500, whatever you want to charge, that's your call at the preliminary work write-up phase. Just be mindful that you want to keep it around the same price as a home inspection to make people comfortable with it, okay? So you have your work write-up fee of $750. You have a credit that you're going to be applying to this work write-up fee. You have a credit that you're going to apply to this work write-up fee against this. So we're going to move this over here. So this is a credit minus 300. Okay. So that means that when you are ready to release the work write-up to the borrower, and before releasing it, and I have so many of you who have money out there that you'll never receive because you didn't get the payment before you release the work write-up report, and then the deal died in underwriting or some for other reasons, they're saying, I'm not paying you because I'm not moving forward with the loan and you are out of luck. So before releasing the work write-up, okay, you are going to collect the balance due. Oops. So this is the credit. This is a credit, available credit. So this is the credit. So the balance due you is $450. And that's what you're going to collect before you go out, before you release the report. I'm not going to highlight that. So you're going to collect a balance of $450 before you release the report. So the total earnings, put that up here, your total earnings pre-closing are feasibility study, $100, work write-up, $750, for a total of $850. Okay, that's what your total earnings is based upon what you have done with this project and how you have been paid. This is how you get paid. Now, this is not how you report it to the this is how you got paid. You got paid the $400 first at the time of the walkthrough, and then you collected the balance before releasing the work write-up. That's not how you report it to the lender. How you report it to the lender is this. So there you can see it there. $400 was for the initial preliminary work write-up. You credited $100 to the feasibility evaluation plus the mileage. This $300 is deposited against the work write-up cost. Again, it's the credit. Okay, so this is our credit against the work write-up if it moves forward. All right, if it moves on. And so then the balance that's due based upon the repair amount of $35,000 is $450. This doesn't include termite, mold, etc. All those are ancillary service fees you will list on the fee schedule. But how you report it to the lender, how you put it in Genesis, okay, is this. You're going to put it like this. You're going to write feasibility evaluation, $100 plus the mileage. So if the mileage was $25, it would be feasibility evaluation plus mileage, $125. Work write-up cost based on repair amount, $750. Draw fees times the number of draws, termite inspection, and mold. You don't tell them that you got $400 earlier. None of that matters. All that matters is that the lender will reimburse the borrower $750 for the work write-up, and they will be reimbursed $100 for the feasibility. How you report to the borrower you will be paid, how you report to the borrower that you're going to collect your money is not how you report to the lender on Genesis. Okay? That is the most important key thing you need to understand. How you get paid differs from how you report it at the final. So here we are in the fee schedule. There's my number of draws. Okay, there's my mileage. And so this is going to be based on $35,000 worth of repairs. And that fee is, we're going to say $750. We're going to add the row and we're going to put on here at the end of this line, POC. For those of you who are in real estate or have backgrounds in real estate or mortgage, you know that that stands for paid on contract. You can also write paid in full so that the lender knows to reimburse the borrower. You're going to put in the feasibility study. And this is plus includes mileage paid in full. Client paid it. Lender's going to pay them back. That's why you check off those two boxes. And the fee is $100. And let's say the mileage was $10.90 a trip. There you can see it there. So it's $110.90. Okay. So that's how we document our feasibility study and work write-up. And now we're simply going to add termite inspection. Again, paid in full. Let's say my termite inspection is $95. Now, if there are fees that have not yet been paid to you, I will choke you, A. B, but if there is a fee that you performed a service for or someone else performed a service for that needs to be paid at closing, you would document it. So let's say we have architectural plans and the architect is willing to accept payment at closing. Not that they ever would. Okay, so we're going to write due and payable to Smith Architects. Okay, the client did not pay that, so you're not reimbursing the client, but the lender, you are going to pay it out of closing costs. Okay, you're going to add it to the scope of work as an allowable fee, and you're going to pay them at title at closing. So let's say this is $1,500. Okay. So now we have all of our fees documented, and now we hit submit. Because this will create the invoice as well as the notation to the lender of where they're going to pay this. So now we assign a closing date. All right, that's done. And let's go back. Now, here's something that a lot of you are skipping at the beginning of the project, and it's coming back and haunting you when the underwriter sees the file. At the point where you are writing up the final work write-up, you need to go in to the rehab project overview page, Okay, I'm sorry, not that. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to go out, and what we're going to probably do in the new release is we're going to make it so that you have to go in and edit this first again. Because what you have to do is you have to go back into the project if you didn't already do it before. So we're going to go to Kaminsky, and you need to go to Edit Project, and you need to put down the number of months that it is uninhabitable, because that's the number of months that a borrower can potentially add mortgage payments to the loan. So the months uninhabitable is what you're going to get information from the contractor. So you may not know that at the beginning when you first create this report, but you do need to go back and add that information at this point in the loan, at the work write-up phase. So we're going to be in the new release. It's going to basically give you make you have an option before that checks off to say, do you need to update months uninhabitable? So we're going to prompt you in the upcoming release. So in this case, let's say the home is uninhabitable for 1 month.
You just
Okay.
ask the contractor for that?
Yes, you would ask the contractor for that. Actually, no, don't ask the contractor, because he's going to say the whole project is uninhabitable. You're going to discuss it with them and you make the determination, because remember, if more numbers are put in there, it's going to add money to the loan, and it's also going to give that contractor the ability, it will give that contractor the ability to stress a job out. Okay, we want him to get this done as quickly as possible. So it's up to us to determine, hey, look, I don't think this job needs to be uninhabitable for more than 1 month. Why? If you think it's longer, why? And so you get them to give you clarification. So now once I've changed that figure, I'm going to generate a preview. And so there you can see months uninhabitable. That's what the lender needs to know, because that lender needs to know that in order to determine if they're going to add mortgage payments to the loan. Okay, so that's how you put that information into your work write-up so that everybody understands, and you help them determine that. Don't let a contractor say 6 months. Okay, that's just ridiculous. Months to complete the project, that's also something you're going to determine with input from the contractor, and you're going to enter that in your draws. Okay, months to complete is basically going to be determined by the number of draws, because you're calculating how many times you're going to go out based upon 1 draw per month. You're basically saying this is going to take 4 months to complete. So if you only have 1 month uninhabitable, it's a $35,000 job. I'm probably ramping that down to just 3 draws. First draw, second draw, final. All right, so I'm going to put this as 3 draws with a maximum of 5. And now everybody understands what we're doing with this project. So we have our cover page, and the cover page has the picture of the property, and we actually have the description is work. So we can edit this, and we can change the heading to final work write-up and specification of repairs. You can write whatever you want. And then we're going to basically go back into our task list. And we're going to go to the homeowner contractor agreement. Now, this is a courtesy document that we have created that the lender can use. The lender may have their own homeowner contractor agreement. We are not asking the borrower to sign this document for our reference. We are asking them to sign it for the purpose. We're adding it in if the borrower wants to, if the lender wants to use it, they can. Right here, it shows here what needs to be done. So here we're going to hit submit. All right, so we actually approved it and hit submit. Perfect. Now, let's go back here and generate a preview of that document. We don't know the exact closing date. All right, so here is the homeowner contractor agreement. We don't know what the closing date is going to be. Okay, we don't know what we don't know when he's supposed to begin work, because it's not we don't know when they're actually going to go to closing. We can put, if you want to have the borrower fill this out And it's not a bad idea to get them to agree and sign this because it helps them have something in writing of what needs to be done. Because it says here, contractor agrees to perform and complete the work and that the work shall begin on, you can put in TBD or as soon as practical, but in no event later than 30 days from the loan closing, and will be completed by, okay, to be determined, but in no event later than 180 days from the loan closing. Now, let's go back to that homeowner contractor agreement, because work should begin, but in no event later than, this should say 7 days. He needs to start work within 7 days. And you can edit this however you want. So I'm going to put in work shall begin on TBD, to be determined, and completed by, once again, TBD. And you can make this a permanent change to this file by going up here to settings. So now let's view that. Since we don't know when closing is, we don't know when any of that takes place, but if we want them to sign this document for our benefit, so we can say, hey, look, you signed a document where it said you were going to start no later than 7 days from the loan closing, and you were going to complete no later than 180 days from the loan closing. Okay, so that means he's got this agreement. Then you've got contractor terms. It talks about what he needs to do and hold harmless the borrower from all claims, everything that you want him to understand. What happens if subcontractors are used, that they are not, that they have to be under the employ of the contractor, work by owner or other contractors, binding arbitration, time, all work must be completed by, once again, you can put TBD, but no, in no event, time to complete. All this is good information if you've got it in writing, okay, that you're going to be able to go back to him and say, hey, look, I got your signature on this. And so you get the borrowers and the contractors to sign this, and I'll show you when, and you keep it in your file so that if after closing stuff happens, you can say, look, I've got a document that I asked you to sign, here it is, okay? Specifically referring to people who are taking over projects, I would very heavily edit the homeowner contractor agreement to include any specific wording that has to do with the specific unique issues engaged in a project takeover or contractor term or new contractor takeover. You have the ability to get this document signed by all parties and save yourself a lot of headaches. Okay, once it's in writing, if it's not in writing, it's not worth the paper it's not written on. Now, we have a full, complete package. We have checks in all areas. And now in doing so, all these new boxes open up where we are able to sign it. And this will now create a print preview of the work write-up report. So I'm going to close all these other PDFs up here. So we're going to create the print preview of the work write-up report. And it will also create a matching contractor bid with the contractor's letterhead information at the top. So while that's scrolling and working, let's talk about the fact that what if you have to change what's in the work write-up because something happened after he submitted it, some new information came to light. Let's take a situation where you submitted the work write-up to the underwriter, and for whatever reason, the underwriter says, you've got to shave off $10,000 worth off of this project. Okay, we've all had that happen. Hit the raise your hand button or type in the chat if you ever had a situation where you did all your work and then the underwriter said, oh, you got to take money off this job. Okay, if you do not need to roll it back to contractor bidding. Don't put yourself through that trouble. All I'm going to suggest that you do is give this bid that you've already created with already has all of his numbers and all of the information in it. Just give it to the contractor and the borrower and say, okay, I need you to go back in here and I need you to correct every single thing that you could take out that is recommended or desired, but you can't touch mandatory. So please give me a PDF circle the things that you want to take off, or actually what I would probably do, I would have a Zoom call and I would literally go through it line by line with them inside Genesis and say, okay, we got to take this off. But let's forget that for now. But here is the work write-up. We're going to go back to that. So here's the work write-up. Here's the consultant services agreement. This is your agreement with them that says, hey, you get charged extra fees if there is revisions. Okay, you get to charge more money if there are revisions. This is the initial draw request that the lender needs. This is your identity of interest. This is the borrower's acknowledgement. This is for you to fill out to provide your taxpayer identification. Do not fill this out until after you've gotten signatures from the borrowers, okay? Because you don't want to give your company tax identification information to them. You want to give it to the lender only. So you fill this page out after it comes back to you after they've signed it. All right. Then, because they're going to need it, the lender will need it to pay you your draw fees. All right. So that's that W-9, all the forms for a W-9. Here's your homeowner contractor agreement. Okay. And there you can see all the TBDs that we shared. And there's all the places for them to sign. So what you're going to do is you're going to edit this PDF and request e-signatures from the borrower and the contractor on all the relevant pages. So that means you are going to request, let's open it up into page view. Single page view, fit one page, great. So you're going to basically ask, you're going to get signatures on the permit insert form from borrower and contractor. Then you're going to get signatures on the last page of the work write-up. Right there, borrower and contractor. And just so that you can see what we did with this, there you can see my work write-up fee paid in full, $750. My feasibility study paid in full. The termite inspection paid in full. Architectural plans due and payable too. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So they sign there. Then you get them to accept your services agreement again. And then there's your fee schedule. And this, I want to show that to you real quickly. Where'd it go? There it is, fees. So here's the fee schedule. Once again, you can see how it's been reported to the lender is different from how you received your payment. And these are the fees that were paid by the borrower. So this is the amount that's going to come back to the borrower. All right, so now the draw fees are going to be escrowed. The work write-up is going to be reimbursed to them. The feasibility study is going to be reimbursed to them. And the termite inspection is going to be reimbursed to them. And the fees that are included in escrow are all of the above, including the architectural plan fees that are going to be paid to the architect. Okay, so that's how this works. We had just hit now. You create the matching contractor bid because the lender needs to see the bid on his letterhead, quote unquote. And so that's what you can now do. So you're going to create the matching contractor bid and you're going to get the borrower and the contractor to e-sign this as well. So what do I suggest that you do? I suggest that you merge these two files into one giant PDF, get them to e-sign all of the relevant pages. And then once you've got that back, then you can go in and update the W-9 form and you're ready to submit this to the underwriter for closing after you have collected payment. So you send out the request for payment to the borrower and says, hey, I'm sending this to you for signature. In addition to your signature, please click this link to process the balance due. We use whatever electronic payment method you have. If you have ISN, you create a new ISN order for the work write-up, or you just edit your original work write-up by adding the total cost, which makes the balance due on that original work write-up, on that original line item in ISN. And then you can actually go in and correct that and then pull your payment. If you're getting paid from in your home gauge, or if you're using, Stripe, if you have a Stripe account, whatever you use to get paid, you do not have already an electronic payment platform, please reach out to me because we have a relationship with Guardian Financial so you can set up a NAFHAC member discounted payment platform to collect e-payments. Okay, Square is too expensive. Okay, so now once you've gotten that done.
What about Zelle?
I'm sorry?
What about Zelle?
Zelle works as well. So if you want to use Zelle, go for it. So all that being said, now you have this done. Do not finalize this work write-up. Okay, let me repeat that. Do not finalize this work write-up until the lender has gone to closing and the borrower has said, we closed. Because if you do, if you finalize before you know they've closed and they tell you that they need you to change something in it, you have to roll it back. Rolling back is not good. It is, it does work, but sometimes things happen in the rollback. So do not roll back until you know for certain it has closed. Because if you have to make changes, you could go in and change every single thing in here at this point. So if they say you got to shave $10,000 off this project, you can go in and do that. It's easy to do. And when you do make that change, whatever change you make to the specification of repairs, it will automatically be mirrored in the matching contractor bid. So the good news is, don't worry about sending it back to the contractor to rewrite. Don't make his life more difficult than he wants it to be. Take on that responsibility, get it done, go through it and say, okay, guys, we got to get some stuff cut off. Let's go through the line items. My first place that I run to when I got to make changes is I go down to appliances. Okay, let's take those appliances out. All right, they're not mandatory. What do we got here? They're all recommended. Let's take them out and we can always add them back in out of available contingency. That's the first thing I tell a borrower. I'll hit my appliances first. If I have to shave money off, then I will hit my cabinetry number. Okay, and then I'll hit my lighting number to take off extra light fixtures. I'll take off plumbing fixtures, the bath accessories. I'll take off all the things that I don't need before I have to hit recommended. Okay, and after we completely go through this entire flow of sequence, we're going to hit troubleshooting in each of these phases. And that's going to be the next series that we're going to talk about. And we're going to be having them hosted by our by our team leaders. All right, so that concludes the conversation on the overview of the 203K flow of events, working with the Genesis Rehab Reporting System work write-up task list. Review accepted bids, done. Create your final work write-up with contractors' numbers, done. Verify permits and establish number of months for completion, number of months uninhabitable, done. Collect the balance, get that money, and then release the work write-up. That concludes our conversation for today. Our next conversation, we're going to be talking about draws, what to do with draws, how to make your draws a successful process from the very first one. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're ending our call for today. Thank you so much for being with us. Until I'm able to support you in the future, I'll see you on a one-on-one call, hopefully, if I haven't already this month, and on the general membership meeting where we're going to have a guest from, our guest speaker will be, where's my details? I lost it. Okay, there it is. Our guest is going to be from Gatewood Bookkeeping, LLC, where they're going to talk about how you can leave the BS to them, okay? So it's a bookkeeping service, and I've met them last month, and it is a great resource. Let somebody else take care of the details of your bookkeeping. You track the numbers. So until I'm able to support you in the future, thank you all so much for being here. A shout out to our team leaders, Walter Williams and Ludwig Maxwell, and be outstanding. Have a great day. Bye-bye.